Hola, Filterinos, and welcome to the PopFilter Podcast, the progenitor of the superhero show, nay, our movie of the year, Nutflex, the OCD, and doing bits. This is the only podcast conglomerate with the science and the screaming to determine what the greatest pieces of pop culture have been for this entity's existence. While Movie of the Year is currently covering 1975, and the superhero show is digging into the comic book-based TV shows out currently, in these bonus shows, we are celebrating 10 years of YourPopFilter, 11 years of YourPopFilter by figuring out the best albums, TV comedies, TV dramas, and movies from 2011 to 2020. Tonight, we are focused on the dramas of those 10 years, and I'm your host and co-founder, Mike Gravano. With me, as always, for over a decade is Ryan.
Sorry, I'm just looking up conglomerate to see if that's applicable. I
actually don't think we are a conglomerate.
Yeah, I don't think that's right. But, yeah, thanks for having me, Mike.
I think of it as conglomerate that we are contributing to this, and more people keep glomming onto us. We're conglomerates.
That's the case with the people that you begged to be here today.
Yes. I've texted, I've emailed, I've double-checked their schedules. I'm glad they're here. But thanks, it's hard to believe.
Yeah.
I said that already.
Mm-hmm. And if I thought
that's when you started talking. I know normally you don't wait for those to
Here
introduce you.
Here we go. Here comes trouble.
But I actually did introduce you. This guy, I did introduce you. And
I know that if you thought that we were an actual conglomerate, you would have called it conglom.
A conglom.
Yeah.
We are not a conglom. Ryan,
what?
TV drama of the last 10 years. We talked about comedy. What defined comedy was how not funny it was. Uh-huh. So what defined
hilarity
drama of the last 10 years?
No, I would say that I think that the last 10 years, this is of all the forms of media, especially that we cover, this is the one that made the biggest leaps and bounds. I would say that there's never been, nor will there ever be a better decade than this decade as far as TV drama goes. And I can feel it being over. I honestly can. Over the last 3 or 4 weeks, we've been watching The White Lotus, and so all about it. But I don't think it would even make this bracket, and I just think that it's really hard to explain how incredible the last 10 years of drama were.
Do you think it's over on purpose? With Mayor of Easttown was also very big lately, but it feels like people are like, let's bring in some pulp and just let people tune out and not have to watch this show like reading a novel.
I think that it's not over on purpose. I think it's sort of over on accident, but on purpose in that we're now in this copycat valley. Of you're going to go through the bracket, Mike, and we're going to see so much originality, and there will be some trends, there will be some things that are similar, but the ideas and the auteurship and the power that we gave showrunners and writers was so palpable, and now it's can you make me this plus this? And so it has to go down into this valley until it can rise again and say we need new blood, you know?
And that's the uncanny valley.
It's the P Valley, actually, which should be on this bracket.
Oh, man. I think it didn't come out early enough to be on this bracket, because this last year didn't count.
Yeah.
COVID. Joining us is host of the superhero show, Cassie Davis. While I introduce you, also, I should have said this. Thank you. What's up to you as well, and to you and yours. To you, what defined the drama of the decade?
I would define it as soul crushing and just so dark. So you had to you were a new person.
That's the comedy. What about the drama?
The drama was even worse, even more soul crushing. The stuff you were surely they can't go that far. They would, and they would take your whole spirit from you.
Your whole spirit. So you're spiritless at this point?
I'm spiritless. I'm just a floating entity at this point.
Just a husk. And you know what? My favorite husk is also here, regular panelist of Movie of the Year. It's Greg.
Hello, it's Greg. How you doing?
Elon Husk over here.
I'm ready to get super dramatic. Mike.
Yeah.
I have something to tell you.
What is it? I can tell you have something to tell me because you showed up at my door without calling.
I'm going to be super dramatic. Drama!
Did you not watch one of the shows?
I watched all the shows, my friend.
I thought you were going to turn not watching one of the shows into some bit.
No. I was just I'm going to be dramatic today. A lot of times on the show I try to be funny, but I'm going to be dramatic today. A lot of reveals.
And that's pauses?
It's pauses is a big part of it, yeah. And saying that you have an announcement. Like, there's nothing more dramatic than saying
an announcement.
Because if you say something, that announces that you have something to say because you're saying it. But if you make an announcement so that everybody hushes and gets caught,
Plus, Greg's a little old school. He still thinks that shows have commercial breaks, so he'll be like, he'll stop a sentence halfway through, and then he'll do 3 commercial parodies that are all very funny. And then when he comes back, he'll reveal the end of that sentence.
He'll say the same sentence, but in a different way. And you're like, wait, is that what the guy said before?
What happened to the commercial break? When am I supposed to get my sodas?
Yeah. When do you get soda? When do you pee or poo? And when do you read another chapter of your goddamn Dragonlance book? That's how I read so much as a kid.
Sometimes I'll be watching something on HBO Max. Not a sponsor.
Thank you.
And I'll need a soda, so I'll go to pause it, and it will then cut to the next episode, and then rewind, and then delete 4 episodes from a different show, and then put me on Netflix.
Literally never press a button when you're watching HBO Max.
Specifically Max. And they get upset if you tell them that their system is not great.
They're like, we know. It's awful. We try to use it. It's terrible.
Look, we put money into the content, not in the goddamn algorithm.
You have to get the show started, and then you just like hands up in the air, and you just back away very slowly. Like, all right, everybody gather around. It's coming. Get your sodas.
You just thank the streaming service that it's actually the show that you chose, and not something else.
With us also is long-term friend of the show from the Unnatural 20s, McKenna, a.k.a. Books.
Hey, very glad to be here, ready to witness all of the drama. I feed off of sadness, so this is the perfect show for me.
Yeah.
Emotional vampire.
How did this last decade of drama treat you?
I think it was uncomparable. And it was soul sucking, as Cassie mentioned, but with purpose and with art. So it was working. Yeah.
Artfully soul sucking.
Artfully soul sucking.
Also from the Unnatural 20s, who I'm guessing does not like when things are soul crushing or soul sucking. It is Caitlin.
Hey, hi, it's me. Yeah. Everyone keeps saying all these sad things about these dramas, and I think maybe it's because I shield myself from the sadness, but I always thought there was some good comedy in these dramas.
You laughed a lot during the dramas. I remember you cracking up throughout Chernobyl.
When the dogs died and they had to pile them up. No, it was not funny. It was not funny. I chose not to watch them.
By the way, you can find Caitlin's new Chernobyl single, Doggy Dump Truck, on Spotify.
It is a sexier song than you would expect based on the title.
It has a guru. Light some candles and listen to Doggy Dump Truck with your loved one.
Our final panelist, you know him as one of the older hosts of the Superhero Hour. You loved him on Hat News, and goddamn do you enjoy his root beer tastings. There's not a snazzy title to those, huh?
I call
Taylor.
them root beer reviews. Yeah, they're just root beer reviews. I like to drink root beer and tell you what I think about them. Drama for the past decade, I say, has 3 things. It's crime, titties, and dead dogs. Those are the things that they really rolled out for the last 10 years. They were like, all of our dramas, we're on paid cable stuff, so we can do whatever we want on these.
Somebody killed this dog with titties.
Yes, half the shows have to start with a character killing a dog or a character loving a dog, and you're like, well, that dog's gonna die. It's now a twist if a dog doesn't makes it all the way through a show,
but instead solves the crime.
I was waiting for that dog to die the whole time, and then it didn't.
You watch things weirdly.
Did you guys know that Mayor of Easttown, a show I didn't watch because it's not from this decade, that her nickname is Mayor, and it's supposed to sound like she's the mayor of Easttown? That's what the title's supposed to be?
I thought it was supposed to be she's the mayor, not that her name is Mayor.
Her name is Mayor. I think it's short for Meredith.
Look, coming from very near Easttown, I know a fuck ton of mayors.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's pretty true.
Mayor.
She got that Delco.
I found out while watching that show, she's not really the mayor. She's not really even close to the mayor.
How does she feel about John Mayer?
Loves him. Absolute stan.
Guitar hound.
She never says it, but you can see every time she opens the closet, there's 6 John Mayer t-shirts.
There is no amount of John Mayer information that girls can get them to stop loving John Mayer. It's fucking insane.
I don't care that his dick's racist. His heart is pure gold. The guy's a fucking dirtbag.
Especially his dick.
Yeah, dirty ass dick. We are not here to talk about John Mayer or John Mayer of Easttown. We are here to talk about the top 16 dramas as we've decided, putting them into a bracket. There will only be one. It will be very hard. We will take a break right now, and then when we come back, we will start fighting.
Hey guys, thank you so much for listening so far. And let me just tell you that everything ahead of this commercial is much better than what came before it. That's my guarantee. While I have you here, let me tell you about a website. It's called YourPopFilter.com, and it's everything you need that's related to pop filter. Everything Mike, everything Ryan, everything Greg, everything Cassie, everything is there at YourPopFilter.com. While you're there, go to YourPopFilter.com/Amazon. Make that your new Amazon bookmark and do your shopping from there. That way, we get a little piece of the action, and Amazon doesn't. Make sure you're also listening to everything that Pop Filter has to offer, which includes the Superhero Show, a podcast that covers every single TV show that's based on a comic book or comic book property, and Movie of the Year, where we sit down and try and figure out what is the single greatest movie of any given year. That's Superhero Show, that's Movie of the Year, and that's YourPopFilter.com. Rate, subscribe, review. Bye!
Round 1, Battle 1. We have 2013's Drama of the Year, Friday Night Lights, versus Caitlin's pick, Smallville Season 10. So, Caitlin, how do these heavy-hitting looks at small-town flyover states handle their own issues?
Wow, I thought it was going to be a tough one for Smallville to take out, their first round, but Smallville's going to totally kick ass.
my goodness.
Okay, no, keep talking. I don't want to say judgment yet. Keep talking.
She sounds like John Mayer.
No, I don't think you could ever beat Smallville because Smallville's the best show fucking ever made, and it went on 10 seasons. And sure, we are just looking at the 10th season, but man, a lot of great things did happen in that last season.
And maybe some people went on to found or help found cults.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe.
But not one of the leads. They were out of the show by then, probably. Look, if you go on long enough as a show, some of your fucking cast members are going to start a cult or two.
It's bound to happen.
That's wild. I mean, at least she wasn't like the main character, which was our good boy. I can't remember his
Tom
name.
Welling.
Tom Welling. Oh my god, I love him.
Beef Wellington.
Okay, Beef Wellington.
Yeah, just remember your pervy nicknames, and that's fine. Use those.
Yeah, Beefcake Wellington.
I don't care about either of these shows, but isn't Friday Night Lights like? Isn't this a slam dunk for Friday Night Lights? Like, isn't Caitlin embarrassed?
Caitlin is
in defense of Caitlin. There was that very dumb storyline in Friday Night Lights where a kid killed a guy, and then they were like, "We're just not going to talk about this anymore."
But
Season 2 doesn't
that's
count.
the
Jesse
best.
Plemons killed a hobo.
Every show makes a stupid fucking mistake, but most spend the rest of their runtime being like, all right, but how do we go back to it and fix it? They did the smartest thing ever. Let's never fucking talk about that shit again.
And honestly, if you kill somebody, that's what you do.
You don't talk about
Bury it deep inside yourself and never bring it up and just act like it didn't happen.
Also,
it's okay and it's healthy.
Through Core, the wife hadn't seen it. We did a rewatch of Friday Night Lights. It doesn't stick out as much because there's a lot more dumb shit than you remember in that show. And the guy who got murdered fucking deserved it. He didn't kill a random hobo. He killed a attempted rapist.
Oh. Well, I mean, Smallville is the story of Clark Kent in Smallville. And it's a beautiful show that you get to watch Clark Kent grow up in high school, and then he becomes Superman. And then this final season, you get to see everything that has been
Titan Flight?
They finally broke their promise.
They finally did. They did it. He CGI'd out of there with a CGI Superman suit on.
Caitlin,
Tom Welling would not put on a suit.
does season 10 have the Stride episode?
No,
It doesn't,
No,
but-
no, I don't think so. I think that's season 3.
Can we put the Stride episode into this when we're thinking and voting?
Yeah, I think we
No.
can just vulture on any of these. I think that's fine.
What is
you
the
guys
Stride
know
episode, Cassie? For
Okay.
the I'm going to say 3 people listening who don't know what that means.
The Stride episode is an episode that was completely sponsored by Stride Gum. And so Pete comes back after being off the freaking whole show for like 2-3 years. And he comes back and he all of a sudden has stride powers because the Stride Factory gum
Has a different kryptonite in it.
it. And so he has stretchy powers like Stride Gum, and he lasts so long.
Like Stride Gum.
I have so much respect for that.
Yeah.
I have so much respect for that because honestly, like remember we used to watch Riverdale and they would have like ads for Bumble on it? Don't just have it be an ad.
the whole
it's
plot.
a major plot point.
Yeah.
This guy has
That's
stride
artistic.
gum superpowers. Sit on it. Really get in there and engage with the marketing. I have so much respect for that.
We spent that entire intro talking about how far TV drama has come since the invention of television.
Look, it's season 10 of Smallville. It's shocking that in PopFilter's lifespan, Smallville was also still running. That is such an old harkening back to not just the early aughts, but the 80s and 90s.
Where like Ricky and Lucy would walk off stage and be like, "Oh, and by the way, here's this brand cigarettes. Do you like to smoke? Have these." That's what they did. Just worked it into the plot, I guess, a little more fluently.
Just a little more.
Because they also had promotions for like trucks and things like that. But going back to season 10,
Buy truck.
Clark had a different truck all the time. He
Truck
was a
powers.
poor farm boy, but he had so many cool trucks. But
Well, when you
one of the-
have a rich, older male friend who definitely wants to bone you when you're in high school, he's going to ply you with trucks.
he wouldn't take any of the trucks.
I can't real quick because our second and third and fourth rounds now move so quickly. Greg, I can't believe that you've never watched Friday Night Lights. It's such a banger show.
I tried to start watching it, and it just didn't engage. It just didn't set for me.
But you can call it Friday Night Live.
Listen.
Yeah, I do.
Friday
I do
Night
like
I also
that.
haven't
It
watched
felt
all
just
of it.
like
I lived it. It's fine.
oh.
Yeah, you were Landry, right?
Yeah, it's
He was almost murdered by a football player as a hobo.
I think it kind of comes from a bygone era of TV, actually, where like nothing had been very good on network TV for a little bit.
So we all went gaga?
Yeah, when I watched it, I felt like it was a little saccharine, a little CW style. It wasn't engaging and hard hitting in the same way that some of these others are.
But so yes, but I don't think that means it's horrible to it's not super hard hitting. It's telling like other than the murder thing, it's telling a pretty realistic look on small town football. I don't just not know about sports. I'm famous for hating them. My wife was surprised this is one of my favorite TV shows. They do
because pop culture
so
sports
well.
and pop culture sports is like such a different animal. Like it has such a different set of meanings when it's the focus of a TV show.
You can see what it means for the character when they win or lose that game. It like coincides with is grandma going to go to the home? It depends on if I make this next touchdown. Like
If there was a spin-off, but instead of football they did High-A-Lie, would you watch Friday Night Lie, High-Lie?
hey, no.
You
know
cut
what?
that out. No. I'm going to put a foot down right now.
hey, it's not
If it
10
was-
years of pop filter without some of that.
If it was brought to you by the gum Stry, then sure, I would. Try our new flavor of Stry, Highlight Stry. Friday Night Live, Highlight Stry.
Brought to you by Highlights Magazine.
Anybody else want to say an actual thing about either Smallville or Final
I would
Friday
love
Night
to-
Lights? Friday Night
I would
Lights.
love to talk about Smallville because Smallville season 10 gave us. You get to see Lois and Clark actually form a relationship, which the first 9 seasons.
And we've never seen that on TV before.
It's never
For what?
But it was.
Also, Bruce Wayne's parents get killed in season 10.
Pearls hit the ground.
No, they do. There's some mention of his parents are actually in that.
Is that true?
That is true.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Nobody
They shouldn't
has
have eaten
ever...
that stride.
This is the most orphaned man of all time, ladies and gentlemen.
I recently read a thing that the reason that somebody was trying to tie in why we've seen it so many times, they're like, because he wouldn't be Batman if he didn't think about his parents dying all the time. I was like, that's even sadder than Rich Boy plays with his toys all night. Like, I wouldn't do good, even though I have all these skills, if I didn't remind myself my parents died in front of me every night.
I got to say that all the saccharine stuff, all the saccharine talk does make sense to me. I know that it was on a network show, and I know that it was a little bit before Prestige TV really took off. But it holds a special place in my heart. And I'm very specifically talking about Friday Night Lights. And I'm very specifically not talking about Smallville.
I agree. I think you could see the steps of like the OC to Friday Night Lights to quote unquote real good TV. I think Friday Night Lights, one of the perfect things they did, it is very CW in its way. It's teenage drama, but it cared about its adults as their own things. Coach and Tammy are one of the best married couples on television.
Hey, y'all!
Not because they're healthy, but because, again, rewatch it. He is a prick. And the show actually treats him like a prick. Only in our memory, we're like, he can do no wrong. He can do, and he do a lot of wrong.
He's an alpha boomer husband, and she is, just trying to make it work.
She's trying to get through her wine and hay alls.
I got a whole bushel of hay, y'all, and I still got to hand these out. I'm going to walk the neighborhood with my big glass of wine.
Okay, so Greg has seen it.
He knows it.
It's time to vote books.
Oh, it's going to be Friday Night Lights.
Taylor.
Five Nights at Freddy's.
The animatronic bear?
Too spooky.
Too spooky.
Is he
Caitlin,
behind me?
It's Smallville.
how heartbroken are you about to be?
Not because it's gonna win.
Cassie.
You know what? Smallville.
Love
Suck
this.
it, Mike.
We are even. Which way could it go, Greg?
I had never heard of this Stride episode before
Yeah,
today.
That was
yeah,
season
the
3.
stride.
And
We're
String
putting
from
it
your
in.
memory.
oh, does that not count? Because that's
No,
not why
it
you talked
counts,
about
Greg.
season
If
10
you're
so
about
much.
to do it, I think you're ready to do it.
Counts.
I'm a Smallville fan. I'm going Smallville.
Yeah.
Ryan?
Sorry to be so strident, in my opinion.
I have to go Smallville.
No.
That's a fucking lie. It's Friday Night Lights, and it's by a lot.
Okay.
I thought
it
I
is-
won you
Lights.
over.
I just threw
It
my
is
headphones
even
off.
3-2-3, which means I get to use my President Pro Tempore powers, bringing out my Harris. It's obviously Friday Night Lights. Also a Smallville fan, but you're fucking insane if you think it's moving past round 1. It's lucky it
You
got
did
this
this
far.
to me.
I know. It's the worst thing I've ever done. I've done some terrible things in my life, but what I feel bad about is introducing Caitlin to Smallville and watching it take over her life like one does meth. It's
I watched
bananas.
10 seasons in like 3 months.
Also, Caitlin is the recorder tonight. She is writing them all down, and it just says 8 battles of Smallville versus Smallville. So
Everyone's going to hurt.
I'm going to predict the winner.
All right, round 1, battle 2. 2016's American Crime Story, The People versus O.J. Simpson versus Cassie's pick, Stranger Things. Cassie,
Yeah.
which one do you think looks at old-timey America and its issues more?
Its issues more? Probably not mine, I would say, because unless the issues are of a conspiracy theory from back in the day, I don't think it's that big of an issue. Like, there's not that much mind control. There is mind control out in the world. I take that back. The government is controlling us, obviously. But,
Obviously.
But, one of them has more Dungeons and Dragons. So I just want everybody to think about that.
Oh, what an appeal to the jury.
I don't know, in this voting, some is covering important things. Other ones are fighting monsters while bonding friendships every day, and they meet up and play D&D.
That's American Crime Story, so what's Stranger Things about?
See, one of them has Dungeons and Dragons, but the other one has a lot more references to the entire Kardashian family. So, even for me.
One of them reminded us
okay.
that David Schwimmer can act.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, American Crime Story.
When their whole court case, or like the angle that they were going on, was not working, like they had to do something else, and David Schwimmer in the back was like, pivot.
Honestly, the way he said juice, he never stopped calling O.J. Simpson's juice, and he would look at their legal strategy and be so worried about it, and he'd just be like, juice. Juice.
Oh, but Juice.
I'm afraid it's not going to work, Juice.
That's the same way that I talked to Juice when I found out how much sugar was in it.
Yeah.
Juice.
Man.
Oh no, Juice.
Why would you do? You're
I thought
murdering
you were
me,
healthy
OJ.
fruit juice.
For me, what this has is it's got one perfect season, and which is the O.J. Simpson story, and then Stranger Things, which had like one awesome season,
I know.
one good season, and then one like, what are we doing here? I'm tired of this. This show should be over. season.
I was so stoked about the show at one point, and then I just read on some website that like they're ready for season 5 or whatever. 6 years later. I'm like, what the. And I'm going to watch it, and I'm going to be pissed. Like, what the fuck are we doing here?
Yeah.
It's going to be the funniest. COVID stopped so many shows. They were filming season 4 before COVID and after, and you never change more than when you were 14 and 16.
Some of them are going to come back with totally different voices. Like,
I'm the little guy you're used to.
I'm Mark.
What was John Redcorn / Dale Dribble's son's name?
Oh, Joseph.
Joseph.
Yeah. It's going to be like that, where Joseph is now Joseph, and Bobby Hill is still Bobby Hill. It's like, what the fuck? What happened to you?
I feel like I don't know you.
That's my part.
But this is for me. This is almost another slam dunk.
It is for me too.
Yeah.
I mean, Ryan, what's his name?
Murphy's
show with John Travolta. You can go fuck yourself, and it was amazing.
It was so good. And lest you think that it's just easy to do this, they came out later with the Versace one, which was still good, but not like
Everybody
magical
shrugged.
the way this was. Yeah.
And like I always want to point out in the last 10 years when something was water cooler. It harkened back to the 90s era of TV, and this was like I was late on this show, and I felt left out of all of society.
What's awesome about American Crime Story is Ryan Murphy, for us, though the world has liked him, but this specific group has mostly gone, fuck that guy for years. But the
I watched so much
Murphy-naissance-
Glee, but yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, so yeah, are you into Nip Tuck and Glee, and then you fall out for a while because American Horror Story happened, and all his other 18 shows, and then this we went, oh, maybe he can still make stuff like pre-pose, and then also Sarah Paulson because he loves her, but it's like, oh yeah, she can act, she doesn't just look witchy and all the Ryan Murphy bullshit.
You know what? I loved American Crime Story, and I loved Duel, the Susan Sarandon.
Yes, yeah.
And
I forgot about that one.
Yeah, and I think that maybe he's like not so good at propelling stories, but taking stories that have happened and then juicing them up, like pumping steroids.
But no Jay in there.
Yeah.
I thought this was perfect. I mean, it won Show of the Year, right?
It did. That's why we're talking about it.
Okay, so it won Show of the Year, but only one of these made Dungeons and Dragons popular again. It would have been a lame
Only
game
one of them
until
has
this.
Barb.
So
You think Stranger Things did that?
Stranger
it was
Things.
riding that wave, Cassie.
Stranger Things
but
was the tipping
which one
point.
has the better intro theme? Like intro? Huh?
I don't
remember American Crime Story.
So
Exactly.
Stranger
So
Things.
So
Stranger
Stranger Things
Things.
wins that one. I
Well, no, I
right.
remember it was like, hey, it's Juice. Riding his white truck. Who did it?
Yeah.
Did he do
it's
it?
like, who's that girl?
Hey,
It's
Juice.
All right.
Yeah, listen, if I could fuck an inanimate object, it would be the intro sequence to Stranger Things. That's what I'll say. I'll plant my flag there.
That's a weird flag, but God damn it, this is America and you have your right.
Everyone in America has the right to their own flag.
Also, there's so much show left to plant your flag. Like, you didn't have to do it so soon.
Nope.
Well,
We all get to plant our flags wherever we want, but he's fucking the tonal
theme song.
of Stranger Things. Oh,
We don't want to
everybody-
watch you do it, man.
Yeah, please don't watch us make you watch. Go listen to Survive, all caps. That band is awesome. Kyle Dixon rules. It's the band that does that. Greg,
We figured.
vote.
For me, Stranger Things was fun in the beginning, and then it overstayed its welcome. The O.J. Simpson story was basically perfect, and that's going to get my vote.
Caitlin,
Oh, I'm going for Stranger Things.
Ryan.
I can't believe that not only was American Crime Story so good, but it was one of two impeccable pieces of art of that year about O.J. Simpson.
Yeah.
Because that was when the ESPN documentary came out. So yeah, it's O.J. Simpson for sure.
Cassie.
Love a underdog. Let's go Stranger Things.
I mean, I don't know how it's an underdog. It's 2-2 right now, but
Underdog.
I just have to point out that I read today that O.J. Simpson stays out of the Brentwood area in case Nicole Brown Simpson's killer is there because he's afraid that guy is going to try to get him. I read that just today.
I also read that the next season of Stranger Things, the monster is O.J. Simpson. So,
played by Cuba Gooding Jr.
yeah,
as Gravedigger.
as the guy from Jerry Maguire.
Books.
I have to go with the show that made me like David Schwimmer again. So American Crime Story.
Oh, I love I think Books is always the most depressing. I literally never know which way you're going to fucking vote. It's very fun. Taylor.
I really love Stranger Things. I just planted my flag earlier. And also, I like the third season a lot more than most other people do, but it's O.J. Simpson all the way.
All right. I don't even have to vote. American Crime Story, The People versus O.J. Simpson moves on. We are going to take the quickest of breaks, and when we come back, Battle 3. Hola, Filterinos. I just wanted to interrupt real briefly and say thank you for listening. Thank you for your support. If you want to support us a little more directly, you can go to patreon.com/YourPopFilter. There, depending on what tier you pick, $1 a month, $5 a month. If you're crazy, anything more than $5 a month, don't do that. You can get extra content. There's extra shows, extra series, behind-the-scenes stuff. You could pay for Ryan to draw you a picture. I can write you a poem. You can get the shirts off our very own backs. All of that and so much more over at patreon.com/YourPopFilter. While you're on the internet, you should check out Shady Monk. He does all the tunes you've been listening to. He's on Bandcamp, he's on Spotify, SoundCloud, wherever kids get their music these days that I'm too old to know. Shady Monk lives there. You can probably follow him on Twitter and Instagram as well. That's Shady Monk. Wherever you get music, check him out. Round 1, Battle 3, 2014's Drama of the Year, True Detective, parentheses, Season 1. Come on. What are we? Versus 2015's Drama of the Year, Fargo, which was Season 2. Good show. Ryan, which new take on noir takes it all down?
I mean, like, when you say True Detective, this is very specifically a whole... What season are you talking about?
Yes.
And Fargo
is less so.
But it still has that, though, right? Like, I would say that it was 2 incredible seasons and then a little bit of diminishing returns. But
even their diminishing returns are better than most shows.
Sure. But for me, this is so very clear. I think that this was one guy thinking that he could make his own TV show forever. You know, like really wanted to write and direct every episode, and then you saw him die in front of us in the second season of Vince Vaughn, True Detective. Where
I forgot fucking the Vaughn was in it.
Can I say I liked season 2? I thought it was great. Thought it was fine.
If there was no season 1, I don't think people would have been disappointed by season 2. I think season 2 could have come first. Season 1 was a tough act to follow.
Yeah.
But we were talking about season 1, and it was freaking amazing. There were moments in season 1 where it felt like anything could happen. Like, you were like, wait, what is real? And is there just about to be, like, a portal to another dimension in this show? Yeah. What's going on? Is it
Stranger Things? It kind of feels like the Duffer Brothers watched True Detective season 1, and they're like, well, we're going to put in the stuff we wanted to be there.
It does kind of feel like the first season of True Detective sort of was like, not necessarily like the progenitor, but like the powder keg for all of the other like big prestige dramas from this decade. Because that came out in like 2013, 2014?
Yeah, 2013, 2014.
Yeah. And so much of it too is because of definitely like ER, right? Or Friday Night Lights, like the network shows. But even going into The Sopranos, we have to make so many episodes that we're going to do like shot 1, shot 2 coverage. And that is all we can do. That is all we have time for. Movies is where camera work is. And True Detective is like, but wait. And I think that's why
there's less.
That's part of why it blew our minds is because we get an hour-long movie every week in our house.
Yeah, like, and there were some major set pieces, like that gunfight through that whole neighborhood. Yeah. It gave us, I think, from that same episode, one of the most important memes was just Rusty Cole taking a drag of his cigarette and looking at his phone. And then now, just like, yeah, it has become a way to symbolize how we all feel all the time.
I will say, do you guys think the philosophy holds up, or you get like we get it? You did philosophy.
I don't think it held up
201
to begin with. I think like immediately, I think it was supposed to be like Matthew McConaughey is crazy, but like people were like, okay, cool, and now we can look back and be like, all right, that dude, we've seen a lot more of him now. We all know who this guy is now. He's crazy,
and that's why not binging helps. Like, I do think it's more entertaining to do it that way, to have it go week by week, but it also helps the writers because you will not put together, as Rusty is putting together his murder board, you're not putting together your murder board of how Rusty is just as crazy as anyone he's trying to catch.
Time is a flat circle. If you drive
season 1 in a day.
They just get younger and younger.
All right. I did season 1 in a day. It was very dark, very desolate. But it was also like, there's a lot of dumb bullshit here.
Yeah, see, that's not what is intended. And it was, like, again, like, the success was so water cooler fueled, you know? Like, we all ran to the internet and we're like, what the fuck?
Versus Fargo, season 1 took everybody by storm because nobody thought anybody could recreate the weirdness and magic of the Coen Brothers movie.
Or that there would ever be a character named Molly Solverson.
Nobody ever thought that there would.
No, you couldn't do that. You couldn't have a detective character named Molly Solverson.
Oh, wait. You saying it the second time makes me realize why you're saying that. You're not just pulling a random character out. She solves everything. That's awesome.
And her name is Molly Solverson.
All right, Fargo wins. But season 2, talk about set pieces, and it turns down the philosophizing of the Billy Bob Thornton character and turns up just like all these characters. It's the beginning of the Jean. What's her name? Jean Smartessence.
Yeah, this was where I really first saw her and was like, "Whoa,
not designing women.
This is the coolest. This is the coolest person I've ever seen in my entire life."
And it was like, oh, Noah Hawley is somebody to watch, and also uses a writer's room. I remember about True Detective. Writers coming from writers' rooms because everybody's like, "Do we even need a writers' room? Look at True Detective." And a writer from one of the shows, like Breaking Bad or Mad Men, they're like, "Yeah, talk to me after season 2." And then later it went, "See." Which is a good writer dick swing. It is time to vote. Cassie, Fargo or True Detective?
I'm going Fargo.
Greg.
I'm going Fargo.
Caitlin.
I'm going Fargo.
Taylor.
I'm going True Detective.
Books.
I'm going Fargo.
Ryan.
It's actually not that close. It's Fargo by a long shot.
Fargo moves on. Round 1, Battle 4. 2011's Mad Men versus 2019's, not just drama of the year, but pop culture piece of art of the year, Watchmen. Which one tackled with America's past in a more exhilarating way, Greg?
Well, I don't know about past. I'll say the Watchmen has been very nice for showing us what the future was going to be like. But I honestly, I would, even for your question, I would say that it's Watchmen. Not that many people knew about the Tulsa race riot before this show. And then after it happened, after the episode came out that featured it, people were like, all right, I'm going to Wikipedia this. And honestly, from that point forward, up until its 100th anniversary, it really engendered a conversation about, racial violence in this country and the lengths to which we have successfully buried it,
right?
Over time. And so much of Watchmen I have found has been instructive, looking both backwards and forward, to help me understand the state of the country right now and how it got there. And I wouldn't have necessarily assumed that's what Watchmen was going to do before I had seen it.
Yeah.
Right.
And you can tell who watches these shows and who does not, because just as Watchmen was ending, that was the start of critical race theory of like, oh, wait, we can bury it? We should definitely bury it. If we don't bury it, then you're a fucking non-patriot who hates America.
Guys, just watch Watchmen. You should watch The Watchmen, and then you'll get why you shouldn't bury it. Mad Men, we're in this weird period because this is season 4, but we're talking about Mad Men, so season 4 through 7 counts in our voting.
Mad Men feels like it's sort of the last sort of crossover bridge from the previous era of prestige dramas with like Breaking Bad and those types of shows that I think sort of siphoned off of The Sopranos, where they're like, our main character's gonna be kind of a bad dude.
A little bit of an anti-hero.
A little bit of an anti-hero, if you will. Almost like if we made like a movie about the Joker.
Or made a show about the iconic character known as Ray Donovan.
Ray Donovan.
Yeah.
Your Low Winter Sun.
Yeah, your Low Winter Suns, classically.
Your modern Ozark.
But Mad Men feels like sort of the transition period into the rest of what this TV drama decade was. And I skipped Mad Men on the first go-round, and I recently tried to go back to it, and it's hard to get into now. Like, it has lost a lot of its shine, I feel, in retrospect, and seeing what has come after.
I totally disagree. I think that Mad Men is a big pillar, just like Sopranos was, of like, here's how TV works now, and I think it's slow, but it's poetic, and I think that it is doing a lot of stuff on the sides that we just don't really get anymore. I think that it is, if True Detective showed us that TV shows can move the camera this way, Mad Men showed us that we can do themes this way, and we don't have to spill it all out.
What I like about Mad Men is, so Sopranos, if we're all agreeing, that kind of like did it all for the next 20 years. People were playing with that in different ways. So many people were like, oh, a hero who kills people? Mad Men went, you can be a bad person and not be a murderer.
Yeah.
Let's look into that. Let's look into a normal, wealthy, suburban dude.
Yeah, for so much of Mad Men, you're not sure like what the deal with his like Dick Whitman persona is and what does that mean and everything. And when you get the final answer, it's so unsensational, really. Mm-hmm. And it's like, yeah, you had been expecting to find out that he was a murderer and the show, when it was going out, its finale, everybody thought something crazy was going to happen. Like he was going to commit suicide by throwing himself out of the building.
Right.
Or that he was going to turn out to be
intro and it all starts over.
Yeah. Or that he was going to turn out to be D.B. Cooper, this guy that hijacked a plane around the time and got away with it. But instead it was just kind of like the end of the show was, him coming to terms with his existence for just a little bit. And inventing the Coke commercial that I guess changed the world.
It's about family. It did give us that. And spun out so many people's careers.
I worry if, because it's such a weird cross-section of Mad Men, if that's going to hurt it in this voting process here.
I think it's one of those things like, you know how judges say, jury, ignore what the lawyer just said, that evidence, it wasn't delivered the right way, so it doesn't count.
Yeah.
And they go, oh, we'll do that.
For sure,
I know I said this is seasons 4 through 7, but it's fucking hard to just be like, but it's not about the first 3 seasons of Mad Men.
Yeah, but as soon as we get back in there, I'm just going to be like, all right, this guy's guilty, right?
Yeah, do you remember that thing we were talking about more?
I asked you to strike that from the record.
It fucking neuralize me like Will Smith, man. I can't forget. All right. Books. Watchmen or Mad Men? Which kind of men is your basket?
My basket is set on Watchmen.
Cassie.
I feel like it's a slam dunk for Watchmen.
Greg.
I feel like Greg from the past would be like, you can't just turn your back on Mad Men like this. What's your problem? But Watchmen blew me away past Greg. You'll see when you get there.
Ryan.
Oh, Mad Men is the best show on this list. It's probably one in the top 3 dramas of all time. It's Mad Men, and it is not even close.
Caitlin.
It's Watchmen.
How many votes do I get?
I don't think enough because it's absolutely Watchmen. Watchmen's one of the best single pieces of art I've seen on television ever.
I picked Watchmen for the final, or Mad Men for the finals.
Your bracket is busted, dork.
Yeah, you just got busted wide open. I loved Watchmen, and I agree it's one of the biggest single, but I think going for years and being as nearly flawless as it was, Mad Men moves on. Doesn't move on. It would be my vote, but
no,
even if I
Mike said it. Mad Men moves on.
No, that was a stutter.
Jurors, ignore what you just heard.
Strike it. Record. I agree with Ryan that you guys are wrong. Watchmen is amazing, but Mad Men is on a different level.
You're just lesser
TV.
people.
Yeah, a different lower level.
I don't know. Pull your fucking thumbs out of your asses and watch TV better. Watchmen moves on, and we're going to take another break, and I'm going to do tongue twisters to get my lips right so I don't almost skew the whole voting again.
Well, that is very, very funny. Or very sad, and perhaps now you have something to think about. Or very problematic, and perhaps we have something to think about. But in any event, I'm sure you have some reaction to what you're listening to. So why not check us out on the social media? You can go to Instagram or Twitter and find us at YourPopFilter. Email contacts@YourPopFilter. Hey, everybody, keep watching them movies.
Round 1. Battle 5. Books pick The Crown versus Ryan's pick Better Call Saul.
Oh, shit.
Netflix versus AMC. Both once started our decade with a lot of luster, and both everybody went, you keep making shows and stuff.
Hey, Taylor, what do you think? Let's just shortcut this right now. I think no, that was rhetorical, Taylor. Shut the fuck up.
No.
I think The Crown is good. Books. Do you think that Better Call Saul is good?
No.
Oh, dang.
That's right.
Bob,
See, you can never know what way.
Almost just died of a heart attack.
Died, and now he's gonna die if he finds out that you don't love his
maybe
wonderful show.
he wouldn't have had those problems had he not done that show.
Yeah, you mean the best show of not just his career but of AMC's history, where he had to act his ass off so hard. that it made us all pay
I have
attention
tried
to
to
him?
watch Better Call Saul.
Yeah, fear.
So
I'm
many
sorry,
times.
Walking Dead World Beyond. If we're gonna play this game,
There's another Walking Dead.
There's so
really
many.
Holy
There's so
cow.
many.
3, and they are not slowing down.
And stop giving them away. All 3 are on the bracket, so Mike will get to them in the future.
I don't get how people don't like Better Call Saul. This is like so much better than
Call Saul.
Breaking Bad, and it's better than almost anything else on TV. Like, what is to not like about it? Is it that people aren't choking on their own vomit? Planes aren't crashing?
And then The Crown is like a dramatic re-lying of English royalty, and Americans are nothing but obsessed with the fucking Brits.
And
Pretty bad.
it seems like their lives are freaking terrible. Holy cow! What a rotten job to be the king.
Honestly,
Or
have you
queen.
guys ever like not watched The Crown and gone around to other people and be like, why are Americans so obsessed with the Brits? And then they're like, I will tell you. And then they scream at you for like an hour because they really are obsessed.
Books, before The Crown, where was your Brit obsession level of the royals?
I've never watched like the royal weddings. I don't really give a shit about obsessing over them, especially in like a positive light, because I think they're mostly shitty people. What I like about The Crown is that it highlights their shittiness, and a lot of Americans' obsession stemmed from this, like, I wish I could be married to them or part of their family, and The Crown just highlighted, no, they're gross average humans.
They're barbarians. Like all they do is like shoot things and make fun of each other and make each other cry and ruin each other's lives and like
And they'd like never learn from
No,
their mistakes.
never.
The Crown is just a constant repetition of like, oh, we fucked up by forcing these people to do these things. Let's go do it to the next generation.
Which is not to back up Books' pick, but slightly everything that you want for a fucking drama.
Yeah.
Like never learning from your mistakes, always making the worst decision. That's perfect.
Getting all of the best British actors you can every season.
and then just
Oh,
swap,
yeah, that's
swapping
Harry
them out,
Potter,
dude.
the TV
the
show.
casting is
Claire
brilliant.
Foy, get the fuck out of here. Olivia Colman, get in.
You're the new Claire Foy.
But yeah, the casting is like perfect. It's so engaging, and honestly, it shows you a lot of historical events that just have like totally been forgotten. And when they're going on in the show, some part of you was like, okay, I know this is like a show about reality, but really, like the prime minister's kid got lost in the desert for a while. Yeah, that happened. Check it out.
Or in this last season, an old grandpa was out on his boat with like 2 kids. And then the IRA blew up that boat. And I was like, shut the fuck up, dude.
Yeah.
There's no way. Get out of here. No, it happened. It straight up happened.
And it highlights how long this old biddy has had
Yeah.
a fucking stranglehold on that tiny island.
Women fucking live forever, dude.
Can't take us down. Can't try.
I think
You know,
Greg
nobody else has said
Cassie
Queen
and,
Elizabeth girl boss.
Greg Cassie and Taylor just wrote an MIA song. Tie all that together.
The Crown is, having attempted to watch it, it feels to me, it felt like that, oh, we are out of the age of like actual golden age drama. You've done the moves. It looks very pretty. The
It looks
costumes
very
are
pretty.
great. The cast is great, but watching it, I'm like, I get that you think slow means good, but goddamn, slow should also be good.
And you
Which
think
is
that,
what Better Call Saul does.
Oh,
Yes.
I was just going to say, you think that because I've fallen asleep literally every single time I've tried to watch Better Call Saul.
Caitlin, so many of your stories are I
Better
fell
Call
asleep
Saul
during something,
is-
so I think that's
You
not
have
the
a sleep
art's
disorder.
problem.
That's how we know. It has to be good. That's my
Driving over here was so boring, I fell asleep twice.
But Caitlin, I would like to welcome you to the OCD family. Did you hear Mike when he got upset? Caitlin!
It's been a while since I used those muscles. Books, you were going to say something, I believe.
I was just going to say, I do think Better Call Saul is better than Breaking Bad, but about slowness, Better Call Saul is like, let's drag out this man's criminal activity. Like, day by day, the episodes I have seen are so dry, and I get that the scene work is supposed to be working, but it just feels like it's trying too hard.
See, I don't think you do see the effort. It is like this slow tick of like, because so many dramas are like this person's descent, and it's very quickly.
Yeah.
Fucking Westworld, the guy is like, I love all these robots. I stubbed my toe. Now I'm going to murder and fuck all of them up.
Breaking Bad, the very first shot is him standing in his underwear on the road pointing a pistol down the road because
Yeah.
that's how far gone he's going to be just by the end of this first episode. This is like the opposite of that.
Yeah, I feel like it's a really realistic and I think like harrowing look at how somebody just like it's those increments where you sell your soul in increments and you just get a little worse and a little worse and a little worse. And it's still fucking funny. I don't think it's not that dark drama.
No, and all the actors in it, the lady who plays Kim Wexler.
It has to be the best casting on TV.
Yeah.
Right? I think The Crown gets the credit, but Kim Wexler is, Jesus, all of them are incredible.
Yeah. Better Call Saul is The Crown.
That's
Do you mean
why it all
Mance?
comes down to Taylor.
That's a good time to vote. Taylor, we'll get to you last for drama's sake. Caitlin, which way are we going?
Oh, you know it's going to be The Crown.
See, I am surprised by that.
Really?
Say something positive about The Crown.
It seems like it's nice.
Also, she
It's a fancy hat.
Greg.
Yeah, it's Better Call Saul, and I'm so surprised that people still give this show a lot of guff.
Cassie.
Here to give it the guff. It's The Crown for sure.
Ryan.
I mean, I do want that woo that just came out. I would love if that happened after I said this title, but it's Better Call Saul, and it's by Mike roughly about $1 billion.
Books.
Don't agree with that billion, and it's very rough in my opinion. It's The Crown.
Taylor.
That is even, which means my vote comes into play, and I don't have to cheat and say I vote twice. So Better Call Saul moves on as it should.
Hooray!
We can't lose Mad Men and Better Call Saul both in the first round.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Min. I'm so sorry.
I will say that Taylor is right. The best, like, Better Call Saul acting of all time is when he walked in and said, "Oh, my little women."
All right, round one, battle 6. Taylor's pick: Game of Thrones versus 2017. 2017.
Under the Sea.
Halt and Catch Fire. Taylor, is it the look at the back-breaking hackers of Texas, your forefathers in the 80s? Or is it titties and swords, titties and swords? Preeminently watchable.
Yeah.
And talking about how crazy it is that water coolers come back. Ryan said O.J. Simpson. In a very small set, yes, American Crime Story brought water cooler back. But the fucking world finally said, hey, do you know what's cool? I guess dragons are cool. In middle school, me went, you motherfuckers shoved me in lockers for years saying dragons aren't cool.
Can you guys imagine what it was like for Mike in 2011? For, like, he's just standing there at a bar, and some jock is like, I think Game of Thrones rules. And another jock is like, I think Captain America rules. And he's like, what the fuck? What is happening right now?
You both punched me in the stomach because you told me both of those things sucked in high school.
And then they both punch you in the
Yeah,
stomach.
now we like him. Get him. Yeah, it's so hard.
He's gatekeeping.
It's so hard to remember how Game of Thrones felt like before this last season. Mm-hmm. You can try.
What I think is interesting about these two against each other is one, like, put HBO on the map again, like post Sopranos. It had a bunch of little shows that, like, but this was a huge one and brought people back. And then Halt and Catch Fire, and I was part of this too. I was like, oh, you're gonna Lee Pace is a new Don Draper, dumb. And then I was slapped in the face and rewatched it, and I was like, oh, I'm an idiot. Now AMC split, and they're like, we're gonna have big stupid fucking shows like Walking Dead on all of its spinoffs, and little quiet, amazingly detailed character studies. Never anything in between. Yeah.
And when it doesn't get nominated for Emmys or wins Emmys, 75 people stand up and say, what the fuck? And those 75 people are so angry.
So many of those people are Ryan.
Yeah, and we only got 4 seasons, right? Like 4 total. Halt and Catch Fire. And they're so dramatically different because they do something that I think is a really cool move for shows to do, which is in between seasons they jump like whole
years.
Yeah, like a bunch of years. And you get to see these people go from like basically very small time computer programmers to like very extremely wealthy, successful people, and you get to watch those same characters go over that whole arc. And really the only shame is that it seems like it ended way too early. Only in terms of its quality. In terms of how it was viewed and how much it was talked about, it probably actually got a couple extra seasons.
Yeah, and it wasn't canceled because no one watched it at any point. So they weren't like...
Yeah, we lost ratings.
Yeah. you can't lose ratings. And the thing we've been doing with this whole TV drama show so far is like trying to decide what seasons do we include, like even within that decade, you know, like do we count True Detective season 2? And Halt and Catch Fire had like 4 mediocre, AMC's trying to do a thing, first episodes, and then became the most legit show on TV.
Yeah.
And Game of Thrones, it's for someone like me who was never a super fan, it's hard for me to not have a bad taste in my mouth with all the stuff I didn't love throughout the run. And then the way that it ended, I'm with everyone, you know, like it fucking punted.
It became like the condensed version of the parts of it that you didn't like. Like they made the whole
but now do it quicker.
Yeah. The pilot is hilarious because nobody making the pilot had any idea what was going on. Like, what the fuck is this? Like, and so all the characters are like, they're all the way on the other side of the narrow sea. Am I saying that correctly?
Also, I've watched the pilot recently, and it's crazy the amount of times where like something along the lines of like Jon Snow is talking to Tyrion or somebody. Like everybody's together at this big party, all the characters, and Jon Snow's like, no, I have to stay with my family. They're not really my family because I'm a bastard son, but I hate being alone, and I hate walls, and I hate snow. Anyway, Tyrion, bye. And there's so many of those conversations. But then you could be, what's her name's brother?
What's her name's brother?
What's the blonde queen's brother who Jamie
Lannister?
Oh, the serious different blonde queen.
I think it culturally and socially, like if we look on the impact it had on society, then yes. If we look on what it did for everybody who was watching it and how it, you know, brought together a whole level of fantasy and appreciation that a lot of people denied themselves, yes. But overall, we're just judging it as a show. And no, if you make us watch that much of a show and you end it like that, that's the reflection of your show now. That's what you take away.
Applause from some of the panelists.
You know a big thing that I think happened to him? It's like he's like a DM with a really complicated campaign that he's running, and I think he has just forgotten so much of what his plans were, and he's like, you know what, man? I just can't bring this home. I'm sorry.
You guys all go to your jobs and kids. We've done this too long.
Yeah, those two guys just became immediately like two Adrian Greniers from Entourage, and they just started like partying and living this Hollywood life and not giving a shit anymore.
Do you remember during the
screaming, "I'm Queens Boulevard"?
During the 8th season, Disney was like, "Yeah, they're not by the way, they're not making the next trilogy. Like, we're not going to do anything with them. These guys fucking suck." Press release, nah, thumbs down.
All right, time to vote, Greg.
It's Game of Thrones or Halt and Catch Fire.
Halt and Catch Fire.
You know, Halt and Catch Fire is 4 perfect seasons, and it's got Lee Pace, who, as everybody knows, is canonically my boyfriend. So I'm going with Halt and Catch Fire.
Canonically,
get one of these canonical boyfriend girlfriend deals. Caitlin,
I'm actually going to go for Game of Thrones simply because everyone, like I watched not all of it, but it's everything everyone was talking about, and I feel like it had just a big footprint. And I know books, how you were saying it's how it ends. I didn't see the ending. So.
Hey guys, just turn it off.
Checkmate.
No, I
looks like I won the Game of Thrones.
A pretty good argument, other than just don't watch a bad thing, is how much does it own that decade?
Yeah.
It's impossible to argue that Game of Thrones did not. Ryan,
I mean, Game of Thrones owned the decade for sure, and Halt to Catch Fire owned nothing. But
it rented something.
I think that Game of Thrones deserves its place on the list. Like, it's one of the 16. Like, it was that big, that monumental. But if you put it up against anything, you know what? Even if you put it up against Smallville season 10, I'm going with the other thing. Well, Caitlin, I'm going with Halt and Catch Fire, though. Not Smallville.
Smallville, out of nowhere.
Cassie.
So I'm confused. Can we vote on Smallville? Is that a yes or a no?
You could do Smalt and Catch a Bill.
Okay. I'm going to go with Halt and Catch Fire. Lee Pace, baby.
Lee Pace.
Yeah, I was going to say, you've seen him on a couch in those jeans, right?
Yeah.
Where was I when we all decided that Lee Pace is in the PopFilter Hall of Fame? This is crazy to me.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Have you
missed
seen him? He's like
once. Yeah.
6'7". He's beautiful.
I think it was Amy.
Yeah, he's a gentle giant. I just want him to scoop me up in his arms and hold me.
And I think it was Amy Adams, one of like the greatest living actors right now, who said he was just off camera at the craft service table and she kept getting distracted. Like, she had to make him leave because he's just too magical to watch.
And it's really a shame that since *Halt and Catch Fire*, he's not really been utilized.
He was Ronan the Executioner.
I know
they need to bring him back as like a hero. Where
don't
you can
put
see
makeup
that face.
on him. Yeah, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
I was appreciating the conversation that was currently happening, but I'm going to contribute to it with voting for *Halt and Catch Fire*.
A lot of canonical. I guess my canonical boyfriend is
Scoots?
Scoot McNeary.
Yeah,
Me and Mike are both dating Scoots.
We're in the throuple with Scoots over here. Okay, so *Halt and Catch Fire* moves on, which I think is the most pop filter thing I can think of. We are going to take a break, and when we come back, the final two battles. It all comes down to this: the 7th of 8 battles in the first round. Battle 7 is 2018's Drama of the Year, Pose, versus 2012's Drama of the Year, the aforementioned Breaking Bad. Ryan.
Yeah.
Part of the Murphanisance.
I was not making eye contact. I was like, don't pick me, don't pick me, don't pick me.
It's weird, though, when literally nobody's making eye contact. I'm not sure what to do. And you're my steering wheel. You're my Jesus training wheels.
His anchor.
Well,
You're my anchor. You're dragging me down.
just because we all believe that Better Call Saul is better than Breaking Bad, doesn't mean that it can't move on. But
Very true.
I'm not sure it's the better one. Right now I'm thinking, like, when you asked the question, I was thinking, could 2 fucking Ryan Murphy shows move to the second round? That's impossible,
What
right?
a world.
This
But-
guy is prolific, though. He's making shows nonstop.
And he drops a lot of turds in the toilet.
Yeah. But
You
it's
know
like
what?
saying,
I've been known to do that myself.
it's like saying, could 2 Greg Berlanti shows move on in a superhero bracket? Like,
Yeah,
absolutely.
he is the square Berlanti, except not that square. His stuff is insane.
I feel like we, as a podcast, got so fired up about Pose, and then
Yeah.
it won Drama of the Year for its year, and then it disappeared somehow from our consciousness or something.
COVID?
Was it COVID?
COVID?
Well, it had a second season.
No, yeah, it did. It had a second season. I'm just saying,
But COVID
specifically,
stopped us from talking about it.
yeah, specifically on this podcast, like it came out and FX advertised it all the time, and but it's like odd that the first season of the show had such a huge impression on us, and then it just didn't. It feels like as just a group, it didn't have lasting appeal.
I feel like culturally it also sort of lost some of its appeal.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like people just don't really talk about it anymore, and I didn't check in for the second season.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's because there was a drop in quality or what, but like people just don't address it at all. Like, treated it like it didn't come out.
I think that's a Ryan Murphy thing, though, and I think that's why O.J. Simpson works so well, is because, and like if you remember back to Glee, it's just like I'm gonna shoot all of my bullets in the first season, and then it's like, oh fuck, I didn't know that
Another
have to make it up.
season?
What? That's crazy.
Ay caramba!
It's also, I mean, not just Murph, but is everybody, and we've talked about this every year, we're like, well, this is new, so it's going to win so-and-so award. We know the other thing is good, so what are you going to do? Be even fucking gooder? Is it everybody's like, why would I watch it? I watched it. Give me something new, daddy.
Yeah,
Whereas Breaking Bad, like Mad Men already lost, and so this whole bracket is bunk. But Breaking Bad had a pretty significant thumbprint on the culture.
Yeah, just to say
Yeah.
that we have some issues with it is not to say that it wasn't a huge show and very important and,
I think
and very
just
good.
because Breaking Bad may be like the favorite show of the worst dude you meet at a party doesn't
Yes.
mean that like you can't acknowledge it's one of
Right.
a few shows that really I think only kept getting better as it went on and like stuck the landing and like ended when it needed to, had an idea all the way through and executed on it well all the way
and
through.
what's up, Taylor? I smell like Axe body spray, and I fucking drink Monsters like crazy, and I've only watched one TV drama, and it's Breaking Bad.
And I hate Skylar. She
Yeah,
was the
and-
villain. That's the sign of a douchebag Breaking Bad fan.
Yes.
If you think Skylar was a villain. Oh, I'm sorry. The wife of the guy who's becoming a fucking lunatic gangster is trying to stop him. How dare she?
It's the same people that think Tom was the hero of 500 Days of Summer.
Or Blink 182.
And I know we're just talking about the show, but even the movie El Camino that came out about Jesse afterwards, even that was dope.
Yeah.
And
It's like
obviously
that super
Better Call
long episode
Saul
of
is so
Breaking
good.
It's I think that a thing that really made Breaking Bad so good is I think if it was just a show about Walt, it would I don't think anyone would talk about it. I think it's because it has Jesse doing the inverse moral journey that makes it like peak TV. But like that is the real heart of the show is Jesse's character and the fact that he gets the best possible ending that he could from that scenario felt like the show makers giving us a little like, here, we'll give you a little hug. We know that this is rough. TV's not going to be like this for a while after this.
And the tagline of El Camino was, it's a movie, bitch. And I like that.
U20s, I got to ask because we've been accused of being men who only like men shit. And Breaking Bad v. Pose, are we being fucking dumb for even trying to say Pose shouldn't go on?
Yes.
Yeah, like, what is the category of Breaking Bad? What is?
Also, like, what's the appeal? What story needs to be told more?
my
A bunch
God,
of
Mike.
white men selling drugs, creating drugs, or our trans community and our LGBT and people of color community finding homes and building, their own place where they can be themselves?
But no,
See,
let's
it's
talk
hard
about
because
drugs.
I don't want to belittle Pose because I think it's a great show, but to say Breaking Bad is just white dudes selling drugs is really
Sorry.
what Taylor just said. It's taking two characters, one that society looks pretty favorably upon, a science teacher, and
A science
father,
teacher with
and
cancer.
watching him become despicable, and a meth head who all society writes up learn how to be a good human being. To say that's a who cares about that story.
I'll give
you,
you
I
that. It's been so unappealing to me though that I've never gotten past the guys selling drugs part to dive into the moral dilemmas of it because it's not an appealing show to this audience, the U20s audience, I think.
I would agree with that. But I mean, Breaking Bad, I think I watched quite a few episodes of it, and I just kept feeling gross watching it. Whereas Pose, I feel like is more like an empowering. Like there's so much going on there, so much drama, and it's real life. I feel like both of them deal with like real life kind of situations, but I feel like Pose handles it so much better in a more uplifting way. And I don't know, I really liked Pose a lot because it dealt with a lot of shit and like there's a lot of sad things. But I feel like I could have watched it. And I felt good after watching it. Like.
I do think this is a moment that we should highlight, though, because this is the first real drama that Caitlin has ever admitted to liking. So,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we need to
like
bookmark
Smallville.
that.
And wait, I'm sorry, that drama is Breaking Bad?
It's Smallville.
But honestly, as someone who like is a little bit closer to Caitlin than you boys are, maybe I do have to say Breaking Bad obviously is a brutal show. Like there's so many times where I was watching it where something would happen and I would just be like, man, I kind of wish that like the show I was watching didn't always do this to me.
Oh, was it a drama? Mike, what is the name of this episode?
Drama.
Yeah, you can have a drama without like forcing me to watch a dude make all of the worst decisions. Like there are other ways to do stuff.
Sure.
Okay.
But I
What
think
about Scrubs?
That's what's bad about when we make fun of Low Winter Sun, because it's a dude making the worst decisions and none of it makes sense and you don't understand why he's doing what he does, except that's what bad dudes should do. Versus the Breaking Bad, I do think you can see Walt's ego and desperation keep pushing him into the corner. Like, again, it's the fans suck. And my mom is very similar to you guys, Books and Caitlin, and I'm assuming Cassie, though she hasn't spoken up yet, is that she's like, the hero sells drugs. I was like, just because he's the main guy doesn't mean he's the hero. The people who are like, Walt's awesome are fucking morons. The whole point is that we should not glamorize this kind of character.
But I do think that's a big part that turns me off of it so much is that he is I know he's not supposed to be the hero. We're not supposed to root for him, but so many people do.
Yeah.
And the show gives
Which is why like
moments,
it's almost like
maybe,
we
or
don't watch
misinterpretation.
Rick and Morty anymore.
Because the fans.
Yeah.
Fight Club as well. Like, there's just some shitty people that
The Los
gravitate
Angeles Dodgers?
yeah, to name some
that's
things.
so mean.
Hey,
What do we
understand that
say?
reference. All right. It's voting time. Cassie,
Pose.
Greg.
I want to say Pose, but I just don't feel like that's really true to what my experiences because I watched all the episodes of Breaking Bad and I got so fired up about Pose and then just didn't watch the second season. So I think I have to be true to that and say it's Breaking Bad for me.
Books.
Pose.
Taylor.
Yeah, I'm with Greg. I like both of these, but like even if it's not as high up as it would be right when it aired, I think it's still Breaking Bad for me.
Caitlin.
It's the women versus the men right now, and it's obviously Pose. I don't want to watch.
What if I told you
just...
he makes giant MacGyver crazy experiments?
I watched
Pretty
the
sweet.
show.
Magnets, bitch.
It was bad.
Okay, saying it's bad is
Okay, it was.
insane.
Okay,
yeah, it was
Ryan,
Breaking Bad.
it was-
Sure.
Ryan.
I agree with Taylor, who agreed with Greg. The quality plus the footprint, or the thumbprint, is so big. It's got to be Breaking Bad. And let's only have one Ryan Murphy show in the top 8.
I'm fascinated and want somebody to do analysis of this gendered split right here. I have to come in and vote. And Pose I loved, and maybe I think it's very interesting that the world stopped talking and stopped watching it is hard to get around. That everyone went, yeah, we loved it. Oh, there's more? All right. I don't know if that screams best drama of a decade. So my vote is also for Breaking Bad, and that moves on. Your final battle of round 1, this is going to be fun, is... I didn't write any of these years down. I May Destroy You versus Succession. Oh, that's 2020's I May Destroy You versus 2019's Succession. Let's go with Taylor. Looks ready to talk. Taylor, are we looking at a deep look at the Murdochian type of family owning a media conglomerate and how fucking awful they are, or a harrowing comedic tale of how a woman deals with rape? I think we might have another gendered split on our hands.
This is so. This might be the most disparate matchup of the first round to me. I really like both of these for entirely separate reasons. I think Succession is maybe the closest to the bit we were doing at the beginning, that dramas are actually funny and the comedies are this is the closest to a comedy that obviously executive produced by Adam McKay, who we all know from Talladega Nights. So I
think
no books, go for it.
I think Succession is, for me, what Breaking Bad is for the guys on this show. It's shitty people doing shitty things, but entertaining and drama. And I think I finally kind of grasp a little bit more of why Succession is appealing. And this bracket is really difficult because I love both of these shows. The people who are harmed in the process in Succession, I also don't give a shit about.
Yeah.
It is all shitty, whereas Breaking Bad harms people that shouldn't be in those shitty positions, and that's harder for me to watch. So yeah, there's an appeal there.
There's this weird tension in Succession where I'm judging the rich people so harshly, but then I'm also looking at their really cool helicopters and just being like, man, I wish even one time I could fly in a cool helicopter like that. But their day-to-day life, they do things that you will never experience one time. Mm-hmm. And as much as you're judging them, it's so hard not to be like, man, if I could just do it up like that. Just for one,
Such a weird mix of hate watching and luxury porn blended together.
And it makes you feel I wouldn't say it makes you feel so bad, but it kind of makes you a little unsettled in such a way that makes the show even funnier. Because you do feel yourself seduced by it as much as you judge it.
That's why it's a masterstroke to have Cousin Greg in this show.
Oh, hell yeah.
Is a bumbling absolute, he's one of us, but is close enough that he can get in the inner circle and experience all this stuff and be like, this is fucking crazy, right? And everyone's like, oh, Greg, this is normal. It's like, no, it's not.
And you think at the beginning of the show, you think oh man, this Cousin Greg, he's gonna be the moral center of this show.
No,
and he never gets any more slick. But he definitely decides, I'm not going to be the moral center of this show, and tries to do blackmail in the most awkward ways. And so he is one of us, and he gets tainted, I guess, in the same way that I was talking about we do by loving their luxury.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he immediately he's like, man, I sure do fucking love money. It rocks. And I get that. I understand that. Whereas,
and what's it going up against?
I May
Destroy You.
Oh yeah.
Which is, it's one of those dramas that it hits you every step of the way.
It does hit you, but it's also really fucking funny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Michaela Cole has a comedy background.
It's hard. It was harder for me to get laughs out of I May Destroy You than it is Succession, but I think that's just
I
the
think I
subject
regretted
matter.
every laugh I had So like I did laugh, and immediately I was like, "Oh, I'm a shitty person."
Yeah.
But I think that's her intent as the creator and star. She's just pressing you in that bruise she created.
And it's deepening that effect of her unraveling and you laughing at that unraveling and then feeling shitty. It increases that build.
Yeah. Both of these shows, for me, I had to have a long gap between every episode I watched for different reasons. Like, both were like, I was like, this wasn't a fun thing. You're making a great piece of art, but I need 18 episodes of The Flash before I can fucking watch this great piece of art again. And I don't feel good about that. But one is I hate that what Michaela Cole is showing is just true and happens every day. And I hate that what Succession show is true and what happens every day. Except Succession, they are all getting hurt all the time. And I don't think the real Murdochs and Murdoch types are actually getting hurt all the time. They're just living life and loving it. And we're being taught, like, don't you see how they're in pain and they hurt each other? No, I don't think that's fucking true to life.
I bet they make each other miserable. I bet they do.
But then they fucking come in money and are fine with it.
Yeah, then they roll over a car and someone drowns, and it's just like, oh well. I did my best. I'm a good person.
I want to ask Caitlin.
Yes.
Have you seen either of these shows? A second of either of these shows?
Succession, I have, yes.
And
I I could see how people like it. It's
okay.
It's just not one for me because it is just rich people and just, I don't know. It doesn't appeal to me, but I do see, like, I see what they're doing and everything.
Do you know what's weird for Succession is that it's a lot to me like Fast and the Furious or The OC or Riverdale. Like, you have to be on this sort of wavelength that it offers.
Yeah.
And then it's hilarious and ridiculous and basically as absurd as any Fast movie or Riverdale episode.
But why I wanted to ask Caitlin specifically is because I know bad people typically you're like, I'm out. But like, why do you see the appeal of Succession? And it's not going up against Breaking Bad, but not Breaking Bad. How are these not parallel?
No, I mean, like I
get
said,
it, but not for me.
With Breaking Bad, I saw why people like it. Like, I get,
okay, because before you're like, it's bad.
No, I said it's bad for me. It's bad. It's bad. I don't like it. But like I said, I watched a couple episodes of it. It's just not for me. It's gross. Like McKenna was saying, I don't like watching gross things like that glorify men and people love and turn it into gross things. But yeah, I couldn't watch I May Destroy You.
Yeah. When people are like, I'm sure it's great, I can't fucking watch it. I get it. There's so many shows I'll scream at and be like, try, but yeah, I get it.
It's like, no, you're aware of the subject matter. So.
Yeah.
Hey, you just finished a nice pasta dinner, let's throw this on the tube. It's fucking hard to argue.
Yeah, the way that I watch most shows now is my girlfriend and I will eat a meal and put something on TV. We watch this show separately on our computers at different times.
Weeping.
Yeah.
Alone. Ryan.
Mike,
it is
who is this
time
person
to
who
vote.
follows you home from your dates and says, hey, you just ate a big pasta dinner? What would you like to watch?
That's the voice in my head.
Oh, it's not an actual person who comes home with you?
No, it's a fatter microphone.
It sounds like if the guy on pizza boxes came to life.
It's Mike's inner Italian.
That's what I said. It's the true Italian
if
thing.
If you pay an extra $12.99 to HBO Max, you can have that as a voice option. Like, that's their version of Siri.
It does cause the app to crash, but...
Yeah, which is an improvement.
That's what causes the app to crash. Not just trying to press play on goddamn Snyder Cut because I fucking have to for another podcast. Ryan. It is time to vote, but also you had to take care of things. So I May Destroy You, Succession. Any final words on either before you vote?
Yeah, you know how like Greg and Cassie will look at us and be like, "DOC, really?"
Uh-huh.
And then we always scream at them.
Always.
That's our way.
Right.
Scream.
But we know that we're right. I know that I'm right about Succession as well. I know that it's like that. It's like it is that show. But I don't think that the OC is better than Mad Men. I don't understand who here thinks any show is better than Mad Men. You guys are...
What I love is
what a
every year,
podcast.
Ryan picks a fight that lost an hour ago. And he's like, I don't care what I'm actually supposed to fight. I'm fighting this losing fight from...
I actually consider myself an iconoclast, Ryan. So I take that as a compliment.
Greg never graduated college. And I love Succession for all of that, but eventually the OC comes up against Mad Men, and it's I May Destroy You.
Cassie.
Yeah, like I May Destroy You is like the drama of all dramas. Like, this is the one when I said it was soul, like it took the soul out of you. Like, this is it. It's just so, this is what I think of with drama. So I May Destroy You.
Taylor.
These are both so fucking good, but I'm going to pick the one that I enjoyed watching and rewatching the most, and that's Succession.
Books. Caitlin.
Yes.
Wait, that wasn't the internet?
It was for drama.
That was a dramatic pause, man. I really sat on that one.
I mean, I said I couldn't watch I May Destroy You, but like I read about it just so I could be on it, and I guess I'm gonna go with I May Destroy You.
All right. Books.
This one's a tough one for me. I still think Succession is fantastic. I think it's a great drama. I think it's better than some of the other dramas we have put through to round 2. But with all of that said, I May Destroy You gets my vote.
Yeah, that's how rounds work. It'll go up. That makes sense. Greg.
I want to say I May Destroy You, and I feel like I'm like that I should, but honestly, Succession is probably my favorite show right now, and I was like so eager to see every single episode, and I can't wait for it to come back. So to be true to the Greg sphere, I have to say Succession.
Wait, I'm sorry if I missed this, but did I May Destroy You win 2020 drama?
Yep.
You did.
Yeah.
Cool. That's, yeah.
And Succession won 2019.
Shit. Mike, did you
But
vote?
I May Destroy You moves on. I don't have to. So you'll never know. I May Destroy You moves on. And that is the end of round 1. We're going to take a quick break, and then we come back. Round 2, bitches. Round 2, Battle 1. It is Friday Night Lights. Do you remember that that's still on the show? Versus American Crime Story, O.J. Simpson versus the people. That's a lot of verses.
Wait,
wait,
3 rounds?
Hang on,
Yeah,
Mike.
3 rounds.
Mike,
insane.
I have a
Mike,
joke.
come on, you have to
Mike,
explain
Mike,
it
I have
better.
a joke about
Mike,
the
hold
versus
on.
thing. Hang on, call on me.
I need Greg's joke.
Mike, that sounds like 3 different contestants. Sounds
right,
like a
now-
3-way.
Ryan, I heard you have a joke.
I think Greg covered it, Mike.
Hey, I got a joke. Real quick. I haven't heard this many verses since Hip Hop Posse cut. Because there's so many rappers on it.
There's so many. I like that. Do you know, like more than anything is that the Unnatural 20s were like, let's fucking move on with this shit. Thanks, guys. Let's start with you. Books, Friday Night Lights versus O.J. Simpson. Who defines America? You don't have to say that. Who moves on? What's your point?
Unfortunately, I think my answer is still the same. I think American Crime Story does define America more than Friday Night Lights. And that's who gets my vote.
All right. Greg?
Yeah, this show, the O.J. Simpson story, shows exactly how this was botched by so many people and reminds white people to stay mad. So I'm going to go with O.J. Simpson.
Caitlin?
Oh, I'm so glad you came to me. You send me into this battle that, has the
Smallville already lost.
slaughtered Smallville behind it.
Okay, but Caitlin, Friday Night Lights is about a small little town. And
I know,
maybe
that's
there's
why
one
I'm voting
special boy
for it.
who's good at football.
That's why I'm voting for Friday Night Lights.
Ryan?
I think that I'm going to go with Friday Night Lights.
Oh! That's surprising, and I love it. Cassie?
You know what? Drama. Friday Night Lights.
Drama. Taylor?
I'm going to go American Crime Story.
Interesting, because Friday Night Lights hit too close to home.
Yeah, it's too close to home. Everyone I know is in it, and I hate those people.
I'm bad at counting. Do I have to vote or no?
You do.
I feel like
You have to
I
vote.
do? Oh, Friday Night Lights moves on. I think it is on Sopranos level and does not get talked about enough.
Friday Night Light. Did I already do that highlight joke?
Yeah.
Yeah,
you
did.
did.
I'll probably do that in the next round.
Next up is Fargo versus Watchmen.
Can we vote?
Yeah, we can vote. Caitlin, what's your vote?
It's for Watchmen.
All right. Greg, what's your vote?
Yeah, I loved Fargo so much, but again, Watchmen it feels like it changed everything. So I'm going with Watchmen.
Taylor?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I love Jesse Plemons, but Watchmen.
We gotta go, Ed. It's just a UFO.
We could have had Jesse Plemons versus Jesse Plemons.
Hot Plemons on Plemons action.
Oh, God damn it. Plemonade.
That's a lot of face.
When life gives you Plemons, you make Plemonade.
Mike, did you call me before all that?
I did before the Plemonade. Yeah.
Great. I would like to vote for Watchmen.
Ryan.
I liked Watchmen a lot. It was the only show to ever win superheroes best show of the year and PopFilter's show of the year.
Yeah.
That's crazy,
and
right?
Pop culture of the year. Yeah.
But I'm gonna say Fargo. And with that, I will say Fargo. Fuck yourself.
Watchmen.
My vote doesn't matter, and I like to point out times that Ryan and I are different people. I cannot hear. If my vote mattered, I would also vote Fargo. You guys, season 2 of Fargo is one of the best things of TV that's ever
Way
been
better
made.
than Watchmen. There we go.
But Watchmen moves on. Next up is Better Call Saul, what everybody is calling the definite winner of this whole thing already. Everybody on the show loves it. Versus Halt and Catch Fire. Cassie, where are you leaning?
You know it's Halt and Catch Fire.
You know.
Better Call and Halt called Salt Fire.
Nailed it, Greg.
I love *Halt and Catch Fire*, but Better Call Saul, I think, is going to go down as the best drama of all time before it's all said and done. So Better Call Saul.
Books.
Halt and Catch Fire.
Taylor.
This hurts me. I think this is the toughest one so far. I'm gonna very narrowly give it to Better Call Saul.
This is going to be such an awkward double date on Friday. You, me, Lee Pace, your girlfriend.
Caitlin.
Yes, I'm going for Lee Pace, baby. It's *Halt and Catch Fire*.
All right. Halt and Catch. Did I get everybody?
Nope.
No.
There's so many of you. Ryan, did I not ask you? Who did I not ask? If I didn't ask you, fucking vote.
If Mad Men is off the board, is Mad Men off?
It is off, yeah.
Board.
That is definitely Better Call Saul.
Taylor, what's our tally at right now?
It's 3-3 right now.
Yes, it is 3-3.
Oh, good.
Caitlin has the
Actually,
board, not Taylor.
Taylor and Tally sounded similar in my head, and that's where I was. But thank you. You guys, somebody's been putting vodka in my water. My vote is for Better Call Saul, the clear best drama that's been
Thank
created.
goodness.
Better Call Saul moves on. Your last battle of round 2 is Breaking Bad versus I May Destroy You. Oh, I can already tell which way the wind blows. Cassie, who are you voting for?
Oh, thank you for asking. It's, of course, I May Destroy You.
You may. Ryan?
Ew. But it's I May Destroy You.
Caitlin?
I May Destroy You.
Greg?
Yeah, I think this is where it ends for Breaking Bad. I May Destroy You.
It won one battle, right?
Yeah.
You
But
won
this
one.
is it.
Oh, it's I May Destroy You.
And Taylor?
Yeah, I May Destroy You.
I May Destroy You may destroy all of us and moves.
Breaking Bad's still really
On.
good, you guys. It's fine. It's a good show.
It's good. It's fine.
show.
It's not better than *Halt and Catch Fire*.
No, it's definitely not better than *Halt
And
and
it's
Catch Fire*.
definitely not better than Better Call Saul.
But it's a good show. Your semifinals are
shit.
Friday Night Lights versus Watchmen. Caitlin.
Ooh, wow. I'm gonna do Watchmen.
Owen Wilson just walked by.
Wow.
Are you stealing my shit?
Taylor.
Watchmen, yeah. Watchmen.
It's Watchmen.
Cassie.
Watchmen.
Ryan.
Friday Night Lights.
And Greg.
Watchmen.
All right. Wait, I voted for Friday Night Lights.
Yeah.
Nope, Watchmen moves on because I can't count. Your final semifinal is Better Call Saul versus I May Destroy You. Taylor.
Better Call Saul.
Cassie.
I May Destroy You.
Greg.
Better Call Saul.
Caitlin.
I May Destroy You.
Ryan.
Better Call Saul.
Books.
I May Destroy You.
I don't like when it does this. Better Call Saul moves on.
Damn.
A very gendered podcast.
Isn't that the parenthetical of every podcast? Your final battle for TV drama of 2011 to 2020 is Watchmen versus Better Call Saul. Books.
Watchmen.
Cassie.
Feel like We can put Better Call Saul. We can bury it now. It's Watchmen.
Caitlin.
Let's bury it. It's Watchmen.
3 for Watchmen. Surprising. No one. Greg.
Bury it in first place. Better Call Saul.
Taylor.
Better than Watchmen?
Not by a lot, but I think better.
Bury it. Watchmen.
Bullshit.
I had a whole speech to give.
Ryan, give a speech.
Oh man! All right, like, Watchmen was cool. Like if you only had to do one season of bullshit, one season of jerking off on a comic book that nobody gives a shit about. Better Call Saul is the best drama that isn't. Wait, did Mad Men move on?
No, it did not, buddy.
All right, Watchmen then.
Look, he knows where the wind's blowing. Watchmen moves on. Watchmen is not just your pop culture event of whatever year it was. It's also your pop culture event. Nope, your TV drama of 2010 versus 2020. And by versus, I mean through. I can talk. We're all fine. Hey, Books, want to plug something?
Hey, if you like a little more chaos and a little less logic, you should listen to Unnatural 20s. You'll hear Cassie, Caitlin, and I talk about how we fail, sometimes succeed, and get through our lives.
I love that. Taylor, anything to plug?
Yeah, I'll just plug, if you're looking for a really middle-of-the-road standard root beer that good sweetness, good flavor all around, Dublin Bottling Company makes a fantastic one. If you can find it anywhere, definitely get your hands on the bottle of that.
Anybody else? Throw something out random. All right. Until then, that has been your TV drama of the last decade. We are coming back to wrap up these anniversary shows. You know mixtapes on the way, and you know pop culture item of the decade. Until then, keep listening to those albums, watching those TV dramas, watching those TV comedies, watching those movies.